covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
A Marysville police officer was killed in an exchange of gunfire with a suspect who's also killed. We'll tell you how authorities say it all went down.
One student was hospitalized today, another detained by police after a stabbing that brought a lockdown to a local high school.
And more breaking news, we're at the scene of yet another officer-involved shooting, this one in Redding. Police are investigating the shooting that happened in a Safeway parking lot on Cypress Avenue.
And Action News Now reporter Jesse Angelo is on scene. He's been there since this all started. What's the very latest for us there, Jesse?
Alan, here's what we know so far just after 4 o'clock. And this is information I got from Lieutenant Schmidt with the Redding Police Department that a Redding police officer was attempting to take a wanted suspect into custody. That situation escalated and the officer wound up shooting at the suspect who was shot and then got into a vehicle, and the police then had to chase him. That car crashed over on Alfreda and Downer, just a few blocks away from the Safeway parking lot where the shooting happened. We don't know really any of the other details other than that the suspect was shot and then was taken to a hospital for treatment as police continue to investigate this officer-involved shooting. Again, just happening after 4 o'clock this afternoon. Live in Redding, Jesse Angelo, Action News Now.
Thank you, Jesse. And of course, Jesse will continue to gather more information on this developing story, and we'll keep you updated on air and online as soon as we learn more.
A Marysville Police Department officer was shot and killed this morning while part of a team serving a drug-related search warrant in Olivehurst. It all happened just before 8 o'clock at an afternoon news conference. Officials said that it was part of an operation cracking down on transnational drug trafficking organizations. The officer was wounded in a shootout that left the gunman dead. The officer later died at the hospital. The name of the officer has not yet been released, but Marysville's police chief spoke about him this afternoon.
We lost an officer today who was near and dear to our hearts. He was a 2-year veteran with our department, also a U.S. Army veteran. I appreciate the support from all the allied agencies within the region that have come to support us throughout this tragic time and the tragic loss that we have suffered.
The warrant was being served as part of an investigation involving 20 total search warrants across Butte, Tehama, Yuba, and Sutter counties. Gridley High School went on lockdown this morning after one student stabbed another.
Action News Now reporter Nathan Espandula spoke with some of the students about the scary situation.
So we were at school like a normal day. It was field day for the 8th graders, and then 2 freshmen got in a little scuffle and a kid got stabbed in the neck.
It started off like a normal day here in Gridley High School, but students tell me that things took a turn when a teenager stabbed another teenager right here in the boys' locker room.
Felt unreal, kinda. Like, you never hear about these things. You hear about them on the news, movies, shows, never like in real life. You know, we thought it was like a drill.
Students also told me that both students involved in the stabbing were freshmen, but the school has declined to confirm or deny that information. Gridley police say they have detained a juvenile in connection with the stabbing, and police also said that the victim is receiving medical treatment. We're still working to find out names and ages of the suspect and the victim. In Gridley, I'm Nathan Espandula for Action News Now.
Now, the Gridley Unified Superintendent did let families know that there was this assault on campus and sent students home for the day before 11 a.m.
New developments. A Shasta County man was sentenced in court today after admitting to a triple homicide last year. Action News Now reporter Blake Mayfield tells us how much time Michael Merriman will spend behind bars.
Michael Todd Merriman was sentenced in Shasta County Court to multiple life sentences without parole on Wednesday. It comes after Merriman admitted to killing 3 people, including lighting 2 of them on fire. On April 26th last year, Michael Todd Merriman broke into the Lakehead residence of 75-year-old Pamela Castleberry when she was not home. When she returned, Merriman shot her in the head before stealing guns, jewelry, and other valuables from her home. To try and cover up his crime, Merriman cleaned up her blood and placed her body into her SUV. Several days later, the SUV was found on a remote property in Bella Vista with her body inside. That next month, Merriman recruited Cynthia Duran and Louis Sanchez to help him retrieve Castleberry's SUV from the property. Merriman did not know either Duran or Sanchez. Once the 3 of them got to the property, Merriman realized the SUV and body were gone, and that's when Duran and Sanchez locked themselves in the cab of Duran's truck. Merriman shot and killed them both through a window before pulling their bodies out of the truck and lighting them on fire. Merriman admitted to not only committing the 3 murders to authorities last year, but also to many other crimes. He is now headed for state prison. Reporting in Reading, I'm Blake Mayfield, Action News Now.
Merriman's been in custody at the Shasta County Jail since last May with no bail.
The man accused of shooting and killing another man who was sleeping in a tent at a Reading homeless camp pleaded no contest today to murder charges. The Shasta County DA says Alejandro Armstrong now faces life in prison without parole. Armstrong was 19 when he killed Carl Bernardo in what's known as Mercy Canyon. In October 2021, police say Armstrong confessed to the murder but gave no motive for the crime. Sentencing is set for July 11th. The city of Chico is moving forward on another round of illegal homeless camp clearouts. They include downtown Chico from Flume to the west side of Broadway and from the north side of 4th Street to the south side of 5th Street. The city will also target Depot Park next to the railroad tracks between 4th and 5th Streets. And again, Tykert Ponds will be cleared as they have many times before. The city says a total of 32 illegal campers among these locations will be moved. 18 of them have already been referred to shelters during past enforcement. 7-day eviction notices will be served on April 2nd. Now for today's weather, cooling down today all across the area and the wind picking up for sure.
Yeah, look at that. Chief Meteorologist Howie Gordon's been tracking this change in our conditions out there. Howie, for me, the wind is the toughest to deal with. It means a mess in the backyard. It's a safety threat to people walking under
Wind's
trees.
not fun.
Tell me it's over soon, please.
Well, these are some of the strongest winds we've had in quite some time at the valley ground level, where in the last hour I've traced some 45 mile per hour wind gusts. Yeah, those are going to knock branches down, could potentially bring down power lines or branches onto power lines. And as you just said, the mess in the yard, yeah, it's not the greatest day for the leaf blowing by any means, with winds out there at 45 miles per hour, even sustained in the range of 30 plus. So very windy. Unfortunately, we have to go through most of tomorrow before we start to see a break in these winds. Temperatures have come down as well. And at the same time, here's the wind advisory. But in the higher elevations above 5,500 feet, we're looking at maybe 6 inches of snow. So these storms are bringing a lot, and we're going to talk more about them coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Howie.
Chico State University Farm is having a new solar panel system installed in efforts to help with crop production, if the wind allows at least.
Yeah, really. Now let's turn now to Action News Now reporter Margot Rowe. She's at the University Farm right now. So Margot, tell us about the project.
Alan, so this solar panel system that you see behind me will be placed over the crops here to my left, and it'll serve as a dual purpose, not only providing electricity to the university farm, but also improving crop production and crop quality. Now, I spoke with Professor Lee Altier, and he tells me it's a 5 kilowatt system that has 100 panels that are 50 watts each. And this idea started back in 2022 when the student president suggested a solar installation at the university farm. They got the grant to make it happen, and fast forward to today, the new system will help with future crop production.
The sun can cause sun scald on tomatoes and peppers, and so diminish both crop production and crop quality. So with this setup, it's like a dual use for these solar panels. So they'll cause more diffuse light transmission down to the crop, but also continue to generate electricity.
Altier says the electricity that is generated from this solar panel system will go back to the university farm as well as to other projects like powering electric farm equipment. Altier says currently there is another project going on where students are working to develop an electric tractor, so some of the power from this project will go towards that project. And indeed, the strong winds did make it difficult to have it set up fully today. They were trying to lift it up to put it on the wheels to put it over, but the winds was just tilting it too much when it was on the cranes, so they will install it 2 weeks from now after this storm passes and the land is all dry again. Reporting live in Chico, I'm Margot Rowe for Action News Now.
Thank you, Margot. There are 4 batteries on the system that will start storing electricity, and it will be placed on the wheels so that it can be moved to other areas in the farm if needed. A state agency makes an initial finding about the industrial wind farm proposed for Shasta County and why it's not good news for the developer.
And now is the time to buy those big ticket items as the price is about to climb. We'll tell you why.